Shemin. That's how he identifies himself. He's probably one of the foremost vascular heart surgeons literally in the world. And he's my go-to guy. He's the Shemin. I knew his father so well. I grew up with his father, and his grandparents were like just dear grandparents to me. Richard will tell his own story. Meet Dr. Richard Shemin.
Well, it's a privilege to be here today. I've come with technology instead of paper. And as a surgeon, I always need an assistant. So I'm going to give the mic to my beautiful firstborn daughter. It was her birthday yesterday. and her son Noah, and Kobe, my grandson, of course, my bride. 45 years living there, Susan. So duty, honor, service, humility, and heroism. That's the theme of the day. In 1861, President Abraham Lincoln signed into law an act of Congress establishing the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest distinction and greatest award for bravery, risking one's life and going above and beyond the call of duty. Medal of Honor winners insist that they are just doing their jobs and were inspired by the fight of their fellow officers and soldiers. And I think we heard that from Mr. Pritchard today. These citizen soldiers endured the horrors of combat. They were committed to one another, and they won the medal for those who did not survive. The medal is not about self-celebration, but self-sacrifice. We gather today at the William Shemin plot to honor and remember this remarkable man. His patriotism, love of country, and family values stands out as an example to all that know him or who have heard his life story. He has served as an example and part of our family's oral tradition long before the Medal of Honor became a reality. My grandfather, Albert Shemin, was William's first cousin. They maintained their relationship throughout their lives. William and Bertha visited us in Little Rock, Arkansas frequently when they traveled to Hot Springs, Arkansas for the therapeutic mineral baths. It was during these visits that my brother Kenny and my sister Vicki and I developed our memories of Cousin Bill. Kenny and I were fascinated with his Syracuse University football stories, his crooked nose that he got having been broken in the era of football before the face mask, and that beautiful gold football that he wore on his watch chain with the engraved scores of the famous 1922 Syracuse season. I've had the opportunity to visit the display of that team in the Carrier Domes at Syracuse University and visit the Shemin Auditorium on the campus. And several generations of Shemins were educated there, including my beautiful cousin Elsie, who you may not know was actually captain of the basketball team when she was an undergraduate. A vivid memory I have that I feel I must tell is that I was digging large holes in my grandfather's backyard for the fruit trees that Cousin Bill would bring to Little Rock from his nursery. He would stand over me, I was about the age of 10, supervising my work. When I was exhausted in the 100-degree heat and asked for a drink of water and wanted to take a break, he ordered me back into my foxhole and asked me to finish the job without complaint and use that famous walking stick to measure the depth of the hole before my job was done. But that was not the end. He would then jump in the car and we would drive outside the city limits of Little Rock to a random farm. He would just drive up to the farmer's house, knock on the door, and say, "Could we go into your cow barn and collect some manure?" Now, of course, it was my job to dig. I was becoming very proficient with a shovel, long before I was with a scalpel, and fill the grocery store sacks. As I went for the dry manure, Cousin Bill said, "No." He insisted on the very fresh patties. So I had trouble actually getting the manure, which was sticking to my shovel, and said, "Can I tear a piece of paper from the sack?" He said, "No, we have to save the sacks. Just use your bare hand." So that was my introduction to the sergeant. And little did I realize that these hands will one day be performing cardiac surgery and heart transplants. So the Medal of Honor awarded to William Shemin would never have happened without the perseverance and passion of Elsie. She was the force driving the campaign and developing the strategy to have the war records of World War I veterans reviewed. The 13 years of effort culminated in that glorious day, June 2nd, 2015, in the White House, where President Obama awarded the medal to William Shemin, and many of us had the privilege of being there. Elsie, you personify the devoted daughter. You bring honor to your father, our family, Jewish war veterans, and our nation. Recently, when you told me that Private Johnson and his story will be adopted by our family, so he too will be remembered for his service and heroism, I was so pleased to hear that. The nation has honored two great men, and their bravery above and beyond the call of duty were overlooked during their lifetimes. In April of 1937, my grandfather was the secretary of the Shemin family tree. This organization met several times in New York. One of the relatives, Evelyn